My beloved child, this moment wrapped in peace is not like any other. I am unable to postpone this miraculous interruption any longer. While you searched everywhere else for answers that only my voice could provide, I have been patient with you as you faltered under the weight of your worries, concerns, and distractions. Tonight, however, is different from yesterday, and what needs to be done in this hour cannot wait for tomorrow. The heavens are on high alert, and the time is full, because it has already started to unravel. I waited because I was merciful, not because I was unsure, so you could see what I've been gently asking you to observe. But I have to make it loud now. Tonight is a special night, and you shouldn't fall asleep as if it were simply another ordinary day. It isn't. I am pushing with divine weight on your heart, because the choices you make now will define far more than your level of comfort. Your spiritual survival will be shaped by them. An assignment has been started by the enemy that cannot be reversed tomorrow. Only your obedience tonight will be able to intercept it. Not only is this moment important, it is sacrosanct. It is the point where what must be now meets what was. I'm telling you, change is knocking on your door right now, but you can't answer it casually. You ask me for change. The spiritual world is resounding with this reality. Access will be lost if you delay. You will lose protection if you hesitate, and you will lose clarity if you remain silent. You weren't brought here to be frightened. In order to get you ready for the wave, I led you to this point. No one has abandoned you. Even if I'm closer than your breath, I won't try to get past your distractions. What follows has serious repercussions, so I need your full attention. I've murmured here and there, but tonight I'm yelling into your spirit, because a window is opening and won't be there for long. I waited for you to turn around, come back and let go, but the clock of mercy is reaching the end of this phase. I can't expect you to keep hesitating while I wait. You have screamed for a reason, and I am now presenting it to you, raw and unwrapped, demanding your whole attention. You already know what your spirit understands. Don't seek confirmation from others. Your super thanks is more than just a gift. It is a declaration that you trust in my provision and that you will help spread my word to those who are lost and searching. The time has come to turn around, go back, and start obeying. Your whole path will realign as a consequence. The Spirit is telling you to move now, so don't say, maybe later. Saying, I'll pray about it while I'm already talking is not appropriate. You've already stolen enough with your delay. I'm recovering what the enemy attempted to hide in your doubts and diversions tonight, my child. Punishment is not the point here. It has to do with security. The verge of something timeless is where you are, and I'm giving you the chance to cross over. However, realize that heaven sees what you cannot, which is why the atmosphere is charged with urgency. And I'm praying you don't fall asleep throughout this call. I've waited a long time. You are not being called halfway. I am immediately summoning you, all in, totally. This is the last exhortation. To stand up before falling, to take action before regretting it, and to give up before ruin. Additionally, I'm not asking. I extend this invitation with a sacred fervor. Will you respond right now, or will you hold out for a tranquility that won't arrive until compliance unlocks the door? Look again, now that your spirit has been awakened and your heart has been stirred. Examine it more closely, because today, more than ever, the indications you dismissed as coincidence are clamoring for your attention. That restlessness you were unable to describe. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. and you had shaky dreams. All of the sudden quiet that surrounded you was me, warning, demonstrating, and calling. However, I take off all the veils tonight. Saying you were unaware will no longer be an option. It will be impossible for you to ignore what has been in front of you. Gentle prods are no longer the signs. They are your soul's screams and the laments of heaven. Every moment seemed odd. All the delays you didn't comprehend. All the closed doors that left you perplexed. I allowed those obstacles to stand in order to divert you from devastation. And suddenly they all fit together in front of your eyes like parts of a puzzle. The timing, the shaking in your chest, and the way things lined up are all inexplicable. Now it's all coming together. Is it not apparent to you? The tug in your chest, that sense of urgency, is unabated. That means I'm not just grabbing for you. I'm demanding that you move. This option is no longer available. Originally, the signs were signals. They're orders now. Your response is more important at this point than your level of comfort. What happens next will be sealed or locked by what you do with what I've shown you tonight. You will either sit outside the door I'm pointing you to and ponder what might have been, or you will walk through it. My affection will endure, but the chance will not. I don't function on human time. My movements follow the plan of heaven, and eternity's blueprint supports tonight's instructions. You will no longer be able to postpone the penalties if you delay once more. I am not expressing fear. I am saying truth, similar to the warning flags I posted before the rain. The call I made long before the fire was similar, like the caution I gave my followers prior to the crucifixion. So I'm talking to you now. Will you see what's playing out? Since it hasn't arrived at your house yet, will you act as though it isn't urgent? But it's not as far away as you think, kid. My permission to touch other people wasn't arbitrary. Mercy was shown in the hopes that you would wake up before it got to you. I have not concealed my fingerprints, nor have I remained silent. Clarity now necessitates a decision, and I have been clear. Once whispered, the indications now stand before you. They're more than just background in your narrative. These are pivotal moments intended to break up your diversion. When your hesitancy is already being pressed by my spirit, stop requesting another confirmation. Stop using fear-based excuses when I've already given you authority and mercy. You should not question your value or put off obeying at this time. The stirring inside of you now reflects the indicators around you, and I've made it difficult for you to overlook me. Heaven has been full of divine nudges, hints, and signs, but tonight you are confronted with a sacred call that demands more than awareness. It anticipates motion. What you do over the next few hours will determine your course. My intention is to protect you, not to put any pressure on you. Indeed, safeguarding you. You have been set up in traps with your name on them. However, I have repeatedly diverted your steps, but the opponent is also observing. He's also hoping you'll think twice before acting. Don't hand him that triumph. This isn't emotional, since you've seen enough signs. It's always there. It is urgent, and it is spiritual. It's me, and tonight I'm speaking clearly. Not to be confusing, but to show you that love isn't going to remain quiet while you're in a state of delay. The signals have communicated. Your soul must now respond. For this moment, I'm not lurking in the background of your day. The perplexity that has diverted you for too long is going to be overcome by me. My remarks will no longer be lost in the monotony of your daily routine. My presence won't be taken for granted anymore. In previous seasons, I hoped you would lean in when I talk softly, but you drew away instead. Not out of anger, but out of unwavering love that won't let you fall through the gaps left by hesitation. I thunder tonight. The turmoil you've become accustomed to, the jumble of beliefs, anxieties, and false solaces that have muffled the sound of reality, will be broken by my voice. I'm not trying to get your attention. I am giving the order. What I am about to unleash into your spirit cannot be muffled by the volume of your diversions. Every notion that instructed you to be silent, motionless, or terrified is less sharp than what I have to say. Now it separates the truth from deceit, clarity from ambiguity, and urgency from postponement. When thunder is called for by the hour, I shall not whisper. I've been urged to be more explicit. That's why I'm here, bringing unquestionable clarity into your atmosphere. My voice will reverberate in all the closed-off rooms of your heart, and all the parts of you that still shudder will realize that I'm not merely calling. I am calling. Interpretation is no longer the issue. It's all about acknowledgement. I'm close. You don't need any more indication. Any voices that don't sound like mine should be muffled. And I'll assist you. The lies that attempted to label you, the guilt that told you you weren't prepared, and the terror that warned you to flee will all be overshadowed by me. Peace, but not the kind that allows you to sit around, is what my voice conveys. It is the type that evokes spiritual fervor. My voice will be so powerful that it will shake even your skepticism. You won't be able to ignore me right now because everything will start to line up with what I'm saying. The natural world will bear witness. Time will give testimony. Your spirit will be ablaze with acknowledgement. I am more than just talking. I'm going after all the inner walls you've put up to keep me out. Even now they are disintegrating. Your timetable is not as noisy as me, louder than your history, louder than the reverberation of all the lies that attempted to undermine your goals. Why are you unable to sleep? Why will peace not be achieved? And it's because I've never been louder. I won't let you miss this opportunity. Angels with messages related to your future move are sent out as your name is called in heaven. Have you heard me yet? I'm out of the mess. I'm not above it. I'm speaking through everything, though, rearranging everything that has overtaken you until I'm the only thing left. When my voice is the only one remaining in your spirit, you won't have to strive to hear it. I shall speak through the silence, but I will also make a sound that transforms the noise. It's this sound, the type that reawakens your inner dead, the type that interrupts cycles, the sort that requires choice. Tell me you can hear, please. Tell me you're ready to obey. All along I've been talking. You simply weren't listening. However, I've cleared all the obstacles tonight. I'll be there when you quit justifying your delay. I'll be heard when you let go of what I never gave you. When all the voices opposing your destiny are completely silenced, you will hear me. And after you hear me fully and understand that this is an instruction rather than merely another piece of inspiration, I want you to take action. Because you don't need my voice to be comfortable. It's a directive for your future. And things change as I talk. So allow them to move. And even as the shadows slink across everything that is familiar, in an attempt to ingest what was once secure, I am still standing firm, unflinching, and reaching for you with arms of blazing clarity. Your senses are not keeping up with the rapid changes in the world around you. My light, however, endures despite the uncertainty, penetrating the thickest layer of deceit and fear. Nightfall seems to be coming on so fast now. how trends can be used to conceal the evil side, in reason, in innocuous seeming diversions. However, I can assure you with holy fire that the darkness is not passive, and the hour is late. It is in motion. The sound is a whisper. It is trying to calm your soul and numb your sense of urgency by lulling you into a stillness that is acceptable to compromise. But the silence has already been broken by me. The light that continues to scream your name with unshakable clarity is me. This light is neither flashing nor soft. It is strong, specifically made to reveal what you've been too scared to see. You have been invited to stand, to shine, to radiate the light that the encroaching shadows cannot stifle. Naturally, I don't talk about lies. I talk about a supernatural fire that pierces falsehood and recognizes what is real, even when the outside world labels it as silly. The times that define my life do not change with them. The areas of your life that require divine reorganization are now being illuminated by it. No longer can you act as though you are blind to what is going on. You can sense the quivering beneath your routine, the urgency in your spirit, and the sensation that everything is building toward a moment that requires more than casual attention. It's because of that. This light is beckoning to you, with ferocious intensity, not softly or tenderly, not to embarrass you but to keep you safe, to wake you up, not to make you feel ashamed. My light never shines aimlessly. It reveals, guides, and shows the step you've been praying for but are scared to take. You will not get lost if you adhere to it. However, you will stumble into a night that was never intended for you if you choose to disregard it. Don't pay attention to the sound that claims everything is good. Pay attention to the truth yelling inside of you that this is not your place. Before it lets go of your calling, my light will challenge your comfort. That feeling you've been trying to get rid of isn't confusion. It's discovery. You're being called to action, movement, and response before the darkness takes hold of the areas where you put things off. Even time is bending to my timeline right now, even if you believe you have time. I provide a light that does more than just highlight the issue. It shows what has to be done. I'm not displaying the darkness to frighten you. I'm showing it to you because I'm providing you with an escape route. However, the way out is limited. It calls for submission. It requires alignment. You no longer have the luxury of debating. Your hesitation causes the shadows to move more. But notice that my light isn't going out. It is getting more intense. I'm burning places you believed would never get light even now. The lies that led you to believe you were too far gone are still being dismantled by me. I am still telling you that your name is not inscribed in black. The light is used to write it. And from within me, I hear that name. Your actual identity, your actual task, and your unwavering future screaming out. The light can shine without the permission of the world. It just needs your consent to lead you. And I'm still calling. Loud, stare before sleep's weight threatens to take your focus, before quiet covers the knowledge I've presented to your soul. With all of heaven's urgency, I implore you to face it right away. It is not intended for you to put off, disregard, or dismiss what I've put in front of you like another fleeting idea. It is the divine response to a sacred invitation, the one that comes clothed in flames instead of fear. At this point, you have the choice to accept what I've shown you or let it elude you, numb from waiting. Don't pretend you didn't feel me shake the foundation of your presumptions by closing your eyes. I've broken through the noise to wake you up, So don't hide in comfort. I've given you the answers you requested, but will you dare to look at them now? I've given you time to act. Will you dare answer before the night takes it away? It was not my intention to torture you with this information. I handed it to you to position you. I'm not attempting to overburden you. My goal is to set you free. However, you cannot achieve that freedom if you continue to ignore the clarity I have placed in your path. What I've shown you in your heart and what you see now are hallowed grounds. Ordinary decisions are not what you're looking at. There are pivotal moments in front of you that will always be significant. Disobedience under the pretense of caution is what every delay from now on is. Even if what I've put in front of you may not seem like much to the outside world, it is exactly what I want. It's not necessary to follow every response. All you have to do is give up trying to dictate how things turn out. I understand the internal conflict you have between what is comfortable and what is divine. I'm not trying to console you, though. Consecration is what I'm calling you to. It is a sacred moment, and I will force this truth into your spirit before I let you go into tomorrow. You believe that you will have time to go back to this later, when life will be more relaxed. This moment, however, was intended to be a one-time opportunity for a permanent change, I assure you. If you shut your eyes now and don't answer, you might awaken to a life that seems familiar but unrelated to the road I indicated for you. Don't allow my light's revelation to be lost to the night. Something that requires your attention is in front of you. Now, before your head hits the pillow and your thoughts go into the security of sleep, battle with it, accept it, give it up, and allow it to burn inside of you until the justifications melt and nothing is left but the truth. You don't have to repair everything right now. Please quit dodging what I've previously explained. You are aware of what I am referring to. An action, a step, a dialogue, an admission of guilt, a surrender. It's not ambiguous, it isn't unclear. It has been lingering on the brink of your soul, awaiting your consent. Not out of inactivity, but at the urging of God, I remain here, still waiting. This isn't merely a call. What I've called you into and what you're holding on to are at odds. Both cannot be carried. And I'm giving you one last shove tonight, one last whispered nudge with urgency, before your eyes go heavy and your heart goes numb. Don't turn away from what I put in front of you. Examine it. Be the owner. Give it up. Address it. Since I never move, you will wake up wondering why you feel farther distant from me if you sleep through it. You turned your head away. The moment was disregarded by you. It doesn't have to end that way, though. Even now, I'm still talking. I'm still trying. I continue to present you with opportunities that can only be activated by your obedience. Keep your eyes open until you've faced it head on. Don't let another night go by with your calling put on hold and the reality you've been avoiding by pretending not to notice, by keeping yourself busy. It's speeding up by numbing you with distractions. You can feel the air getting heavier. You can't articulate the tension that builds in certain instances, the abrupt silence that feels like the storm's prelude. That's because you can't ignore what's coming. Furthermore, no amount of preparation or deception will postpone it. You are unable to outrun this shift. Not with more work, not with more denial, not with more comfort. But it was never intended for you to outrun it. It was supposed to arrive with you, anchored in me. It's getting windier, but you don't have to get carried away. There's no need to shake you, even though the vibrations are getting worse. I am not urging you to run. I'm calling for your fortification. Standing stronger, not running quicker, is what'll keep you alive. Furthermore, you can only be powerful if your foundation is based on my reality rather than your own perception. The impending pressure will reveal the things that are built on shifting sand and on me. It will remove delusions and demand reality. Fear is not the issue here. It's all about getting ready. I am your refuge, your firm foundation, and the protection you require when all else starts to crumble. However, you have to join me before the break starts. You can't put off building what I've been calling you to do until the earthquake begins. Furthermore, the future is not far off. It is just at your door. To wean you off the short-term supports you've relied on for far too long, I've been working to put you in a position to change your perspective. But you keep pursuing diversions in an attempt to outrun conviction, to outrun capitulation by concealing yourself behind religious rituals, to outrun the call by postponing the expense. No plan, no way out, no other option will protect you from what only my presence can manage. But listen to me. I don't tell you this to scare you. The reason I'm telling you this is to help you break the delusion that you are in charge. I never gave you permission to create plans or adhere to schedules. I'm telling you that plan does not equate to readiness as time collapses and reality's waves swell upon themselves. You can find it in surrender. It's not necessary to know the specifics to be prepared through me. It entails being firmly established in obedience, saturated in my word, and anchored in confidence. When the winds change, it implies you're so in tune with my voice that you listen instead of freaking out. You stay stable when others' foundations collapse because you were already where I instructed you to be. And I am extending this invitation to you at this very moment. Not to flee, but to stay and bustle. Not to hear out of fear, but to continue ahead to the next step. I've already taken care of the invisible. Angels have already been sent to guard the routes you will travel, but I am unable to defend what you will not entrust to my care. Disobedience, you are not the cause of the storm. I promise that if you're with me, the storm won't destroy you. But if you don't connect, if you put things off, if you persist in trying to cure what I can only prepare, then the exact thing that's supposed to bring you into my arms can end up breaking the ground beneath you. Let me get you ready. Allow me to be impolite to you. Allow me to remove every fictitious barrier you have constructed. I am not providing a shelter that only withstands the force of the impact. Through it, I am offering a life that glows. But now, compliance is necessary for preparation. Not when you're in the mood, not when it's simpler, not when the clamor stops. It's impossible to outrun what's coming. I'm not shaken, so you won't have to be if you're hidden in me. And you won't be either. Now that your soul is starting to recognize that what seemed immobile is shaking under your feet, know that this is not anarchy. This is who I am. A disturbance is not a kind of discipline. It's a cleansing process. I am not destroying you by breaking you. I'm delivering you by shaking you. You relied on the routines and the systems you trusted. None of the people you centered your identity around can bear the responsibility for what I am about to do. Because I was so present, working in places where your comfort wouldn't let me in, I allowed the shaking, not because I was absent. I'm removing the outer layer to reveal the inner core. I'm letting go of what was transient, so you may finally hold on to what you can't have. What you referred to as security was frequently little more than a silent idol that you relied upon more than I did. So I gave it a shake. Indeed, The quake will never harm what is eternal within you, so I shall shake even more. You cannot allow instability to uproot what I have planted in your soul. The quake merely makes it deeper. You have questioned me about why things that once made sense are no longer sufficient, why doors have closed, and why individuals have left. I'm responding now with revelation rather than just an explanation. It was all for the purpose of bringing you to this unveiling and moment. I had to take down the scaffolding so you would know it wasn't the building. You were always held together by my spirit. The trembling is a gift that seems like loss. It's not my intention to expose you. My goal is to firmly ground you in what cannot be taken away. And it's functioning. I was saying, will you trust what's left once something slips through your hands? Will you see me in the debris and know that when the dust rises, I am still God? The appearance of refinement is as follows. The shaking isn't mean, it is lucidity. For at last, you can see what was built on me and what was constructed on sand. It hurt, but your heart needed this. Even if it was stretched, your trust needed this. Purity is necessary for what lies ahead. Thus, this was necessary for your calling. If you weren't under pressure, you wouldn't have chosen. I don't fear your shuddering. As you ask me questions, I hold you. However, until you give up what I never instructed you to keep, I won't cease this shaking. That hut, that expectation, that relationship, that entitlement, that lie. To make things plain, I'm shaking everything, not to confuse you. All of what you lost won't have to be rebuilt, just what I give new life to. At this point, I am unveiling eternal things, and the frailties of this world are never the foundation of eternity. I will rebuild, but only with what you give up, with what is holy, and with what is unbreakable. Now with heavenly might, what you formerly grasped with clasped hands and believed to be stable is being withdrawn. However, I am unveiling something that is impervious to falling in its place. The things that will endure when all else fades are myself, my truth, my presence, my mission, and my purpose in you. And if you look closely, you can see it through the disturbance. From the inside out, I'm reconstructing you. It's changing the foundation, but you're being put on solid rock, okay? You're not going to pass out. I am strong, not because you are. Furthermore, I'm not in a mood. The plans may fall, the earth may tremble, and the familiar may disperse, but I will always be there. What are you clinging on to that won't withstand the tremors, I ask you now? Let it drop. Let it go. To start the new object in its position, let the shaking do its job. You won't require the things you lost. You'll only require what I'm left in. It's not what you kept that's really eternal. I kept it that way. It's rising now too as the rest fades away. And now, as the dust is gathering over the remains of what I've shattered, I want you to see plainly what indecision can do. Delays are innocuous, you've been taught, and delaying obedience is only a question of convenience or personal taste. However, I can assure you that this is a ruse by the pitiful to subvert fate in silence. What you put off today ends up being the very thing that keeps you from receiving the fulfillment I planned for your name. There are times when I created things to match the motion of heaven. When you pause, you leave the flow and enter a state of spiritual silence, where the enemy whispers that there is still time. However, time does not work for you, youngster. My timing isn't a recommendation. It is an alignment of the divine. Additionally, you run the chance of missing anything that might have been overlooked due to hesitation, each time you decide to exercise caution rather than call. This door I have opened for you today is more than just a chance. This assignment carries the burden of individuals you have never met, innovations you have never dreamed of, and lives that, depending on your yes, will either succeed or fail. Not just your life is impacted when you put things off. Every soul I have designated you to reach is affected. I put you in a calling that has nothing to do with comfort or status. It's a heavenly command in eternal ink. Every time you say to yourself, "Not yet," an adversary who understands that hesitancy works better than outright defiance gains ground from you. Because reluctance can be disguised as humility, responsibility, or even knowledge, it is fundamentally disobedience adorned with excuses. You keep asking me to clarify, but I've said it already. Comfort, not validation, is what you seek. However, your comfort is not my concern. I am urging you to have bravery. Time, purpose, legacy, and impact are not the only things at risk. The enemy can divert your attention long enough to cause you to miss the time when your calling was meant to activate, but he cannot delete it. You believe you'll go back to it when things quiet down. By then, though, the season has changed. Whatever was once ripe is now delayed in dormancy, and the earth is no longer soft. Not that it's gone forever. I'm stating that the price will be higher. I don't go back in time, but I do redeem. What you lose by waiting may not return in the same way. Therefore, I beg you now, as the one who purposefully set fire to your days, not as a judge. Don't put off the action I've initiated. I'll go before you if you step now. If you wait now, you'll have to shed tears that could have been avoided to regain momentum. Harvest to come, bear the burden of this moment. Your agreement is the soil, and seeds are falling now. But what should be gentle is hardened by hesitation. To move, you don't have to know every solution. All you have to do is say yes before the chance passes you by. I'm not threatening, I disclose. And now that I've revealed it, your delay isn't neutral, it is expensive. There is a way. You can't perceive its ripple effects. Time loss isn't the only issue. It has to do with losing alignment, missing doorways, and giving up areas that were under your power. The earth is waiting for a response, and heaven has leaned in where you are standing. Please don't make me wait while you weigh the price of your comfort. I've calculated how much your calling will cost. It needed blood. There has to be sacrifice. It needed a cross. It will therefore cost you something. However, your gains won't be fleeting. They'll last forever. Waiting will cause you to write a different conclusion than the one I had in mind. Act now to prevent today from turning into a regrettable yesterday. Act now before the window closes. The future is too significant. Your innermost thoughts are too sacred. The reason I called you is extremely urgent. Delays today could cost you more than simply time. Everything I prepared for your yes could be lost. Additionally, grasp this. If you're still trying to persuade yourself that this communication is intended for someone else, I didn't provide it for a casual hearing into your atmosphere. Because this moment is centered around your name, I was able to precisely target you. Give up trying to put the burden of this term onto someone who is more willing or who appears to be more qualified by looking over your shoulder. This is not an announcement that is broadcast to the masses. It is a divine appointment that has been fashioned around the specifics of your journey, including your delays, calling, and opposition, and it has been spoken straight into your heart. I'm not speaking to the masses. This is for you. I've entered the inner sanctum, where your questions lurk like dark shadows in the recesses of your mind, where your thoughts struggle. That silent argument you've been holding with yourself has been interrupted by me. You have tried to persuade your spirit to wait, conceal and fit in. However, I didn't make you to blend in or be quiet. I shaped you to bring light to areas where others might fail. I instilled in you the will to rise at the proper time and not to be buried by layers of uncertainty. And I'm making it very obvious now. The sensation of a heavy chest, the heat that is pressed up against your mind, the obscurity cut through by the conviction sharpness. I'm like that. That is my refusal to allow you to pass this word without being struck by it. When you hear this, I want you to be moved, though others might feel aroused. Please refrain from scanning, comparing, and filtering every instruction via the chronology of another person. This discussion is not for the masses. This is your soul's intervention. You have tasks imprisoned inside of you that won't be freed until you cease believing that the urgency I'm providing is optional. It's not. It's clearly personal and perfectly timed by God. Your spiritual pride and intellectual amusement are not my purpose. I'm here to help you uncover what you've been attempting to hide behind weak but sensible excuses. Every explanation you've muttered to yourself is known to me. I am aware of every justification you have practiced for why you are unprepared, unselected, and unequipped. The fact that I chose you, knowing all of that already, is what I'm using to silence them all. I picked you knowing all of your shortcomings, worries, and failures. But I did call you. I'm speaking to you once more now, not to remind you of your shortcomings, but to tell you that my call has always been louder than yours. I know you've heard me before, yet you ignore it. You used to feel me, but you talked yourself out of it. Right now, I'm going for the essence of who you are. I'm coming for the you that's hidden behind labels, shame, expectations, and delays. The dream you lost faith in is what I'm coming for. The bravery you abandoned, the fire you allowed to burn too low. I'm rekindling what you believed had vanished forever, and I'm doing it by facing you head on, unequivocally, and directly right now. I've been circling this subject with you for far too long, and while others may dismiss this as dramatic, you know deep down that I should stop. My draw has been felt by you in the silence, the agitation, and the unexplained late-night pain. I've also turned up the loudness now. I've made it impossible to avoid. This is your time. You have been handed something that no one else can carry. The door with your name engraved into the threshold is open, and no one else may enter. It's not pride here. Purpose is the key. You are needed by me, not you from the future. In your dread, in your trembling, in your brokenness, you are needed now. Yes. Stop disqualifying yourself from a battle that I have already prepared you to win. In terms of spiritual ambiguity, this word is not floating. Your reality serves as its foundation. Not for your future, not for your pastor, not for your neighbor. It's for you at this moment. This is my attempt to reach your soul, and I won't miss it. I'm chasing you down. My love is for you. The person I've designated is you, and by this very sentence, I am addressing you. And now that your heart is starting to listen to me, you can clearly see this next reality. Things that were before free may soon require surrender. My mercy once let you enter places without having to face the full force of punishment. Even if you stumbled, you were carried along by grace. However, that period is over for you. This is the time of year when alignment is linked to access, when the hesitant or casual hand will not be able to open doors. They will only react to the obedience key. I'm not talking about redemption. I'm talking about divine access, the kind that brings down revelation, makes your assignment come alive, and puts you in a position to have an impact that is above your existing capabilities. The doors are evolving. Where you used to rely solely on favor, I now call you to stand in submission. Not simply heavenly, but holy is the domain into which you are being called. And the currency needed to proceed is holiness. It is impossible to introduce old behaviors to new thresholds. Taking pride onto sacred territory is not acceptable. I am drawing a line in the spirit where doors start to separate those who are willing from those who are hesitant. You will discover that the door does not react if you attempt to enter using simply your recollection of earlier times. Rejection is not what this is. Refinement is what it is. For those who have been ready, I am making sure that what is on the other side is kept safe. I'm not restricting you. I want to work with you more closely. My heart is what I want to see, but you want to see my hand. My breakthrough is something you want to experience. I want to know who you are, though. For borrowed obedience, hesitant steps, or postponed submission, the door will not open. This is the point at which action demonstrates trust. Emotion does not affect me. It is trust that moves me. And despite its trembling, trust appears as action. There is no symbolism in these doors. These are spiritual crossroads, turning points that reveal more about your purpose, discernment of your vocation, and realms beyond the visible. I won't allow you in too soon, though. I'm not going to punish you. I'm keeping what's inside of you safe and guarding what's behind the door. I would be causing you more trouble than good if I granted you access too quickly. Because of this, obedience is more important than ever. Not only obedience in outwardly displayed behaviors, but also obedience in innermost thoughts, motivations, and posture when no one is seeing. These things are more important than you think. Although you might not notice it, I can see how your exterior access is impacted by your internal alignment. I balance everything, and what you refer to as a delay is frequently me getting you ready for doors that only react to physical presence rather than verbal cues. Now that you've been knocking, may I ask if you're carrying the item I instructed you to pick up? I asked you to leave something behind. Have you laid it down? This door does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to obedience that is infused with faith. Because of the increased weight, expense, and splendor of what lies behind them, certain doors feel heavier now. And by making it simple to pursue casually, I won't devalue that. I love you too much to allow you to move on and make amends. Alignment is the goal here, not striving. This is about emptying, not about earning. Are you going to take your will off? Will you give up your timeline? Will you follow my instructions because the door will recognize my voice in you, not because it makes sense? My name spoken through a yielded life will cause it to open, but noise won't. If you also want help me to spreading God's message to the whole world, then please subscribe my channel and share this video, his family and friends. In Jesus' name, amen.